Welcome to Across the Glass Sea, a D&D 5th edition live play podcast. Right now, we're just going to do a quick introduction where we explain what in the world we're thinking and why in the world we're doing it the way we're doing it. So to start us off, we're going to go with who. So I'll start with the gentleman to my right.
This is Nathanael Miller. I am your dungeon master and world builder. And we are playing this game together and sharing it with y'all because we love Dungeons and Dragons. We love stories. We love just the fantasy world and the collaborative aspect of coming together and looking at this. And I've been playing D&D since about 2016. So I've been playing for a little bit and excited to be here and doing this.
And also...
Hey, I'm Michael Mazul. I'm just a player character. Fell in love with D&D 5e. Actually, with these two guys I'm playing with. They're the first guys I ever played with. And Nathanael, we started like 3-4 years ago.
And we started our first campaign in December of 2020.
Yeah. So, and it's been a ton of fun.
Right, and last but not least, I am Ben Gilbreth. I'll be playing another one of the player characters that you'll meet later on. Ideally, if you keep listening, and just like these two guys, just love an excuse to play more Dungeons and Dragons, and we thought it might be fun to record it and listen to ourselves over and over and notice all our vocal tics. So the next broad question is, what? As in, what is this? What are we doing?
Yeah, I think it started probably months and months ago at this point, but all of us enjoy D&D, like we've said, and so we've listened to other live podcasts and different live plays on YouTube and whatever have you. And it just seemed like at one point there was a realization that it was just kind of like, well, there isn't really anything family-friendly per se a lot of the time. And all of us, some of us have worked with college students for years. Some of us, have children. Others want to have more children and everything. And so it was just kind of like, it'd be nice to be able to share this with younger generations without us as parents and fathers at times just worrying about like what our kids are hearing from time to time. So that's kind of how this started. That was kind of the thought bubble I had initially, and then sharing it with Nathanael and Ben. I'll let them talk about kind of how they got there too.
Yeah, I think I was probably the hardest sell on this. But once I heard that, I guess I'll brag on Ben for a second. He does the lion's share, if not all, of our sound editing and technical stuff. Once I found out that I wasn't going to have to do that, and that I could just be a DM and a world
to
build.
the gentleman with sound, with an editing software.
Yeah. So I love the world building aspect of D&D. I love the storytelling part of it, and yeah, I love listening to a lot of the popular D&D live play podcasts out there, and so it's fun to be able to do something like that, but to do something that hopefully will be accessible to an even wider range of people than some of the other podcasts out there. I love all those ones, but yeah, like I guess you're thinking through, okay, if our podcast had a rating, we would shoot for it to be somewhere between PG and PG-13. Not that we think it's wrong for some of these other podcasts to do what they do, but just
not at all.
We want to have an option for if parents want to share stuff with their kids. Not that this is just a podcast for kids, right? It's the idea I think that we've talked about is that we want it to be open and friendly for whoever of all ages to have fun and enjoy listening to it, while at the same time taking the story seriously, taking the game seriously. And for me personally, as someone who's kind of building out the world, taking that aspect of it seriously as well.
Yeah, I think you guys summed it up really well. Just with kids in mind, but not for kids.
Family friendly, yeah.
I think I can speak for all of us that when our kids get older and have some maturity and have heard some of the words they might hear on some of these other podcasts, we'll probably enjoy that with them. But maybe we don't want to introduce that to a 7-year-old or a 5-year-old at some point.
Or an 18-month-old.
Or an 18-month-old necessarily.
They learn quicker than you think.
So that was somewhat the what and also some of the why, mostly just to, like I said, have an excuse to play more D&D, tell a story together, get to hang out with our friends, and to share our love of D&D with our kids and maybe with other kids, other parents that may want to let their kids listen and enjoy crazy world building and somewhat improvisational, acting and role playing and things like that. The next odd question is when. I think we're shooting for every 2 weeks on several various audio-only podcast venues. We make no promises, and there may be some changes, of course, but that's the goal, is every 2 weeks.
Wherever
we're based,
you get your podcasts.
Exactly. We're based in the
Yeah.
southeastern United States, on the eastern coast. Nathaniel, give us a 10-second breakdown of the world that we're in.
This is Tyroa, a land that is marked by a central sea and continent surrounding it. So we're going to have some nautical adventures, but also some more traditional fantasy style dungeon crawls and adventuring. It's a world that's marked by conflict, by empires and kingdoms and nations engaging in a wary and cautious dance of power dynamics, espionage, trying to get the upper hand around one another. It's also a world that is marked by magic, that has seen the mark and imprint of many wizards and powerful magical forces over the years. There's wild lands, wild seas, with monsters aplenty for our heroes to encounter and fight and overcome.
Awesome. So excited. That we just finished a few episodes in batch recording, and we just had our minds blown by some very eye-opening things, and we can't wait.
We thought we knew Nathaniel's world, and
Yep,
then he
we get
changed
to-
it up real quick.
We get to fill in the blanks just as much as you guys do, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as we do. The last question is how, both the broadest and simplest. We play pretend with our friends, and we roll dice to see how good our pretending works, and we talk into microphones while we do it.
Yeah, we're using 5th edition D&D as a rule set. There are a couple house rules here and there that we've used. I'm sure if you're listening and you pay attention to the rules of D&D, you might come across them. We might get some things wrong, and we ask for your forbearance and grace to us as we try to navigate this system. But yeah, it's been fun so far.
And even with that, I would also say, like, one thing that I think Ben has said before is part of with this learning, we're also learning how to do podcasts for the first time. So some of us have vocal tics, myself heavily included in that. But it's also, I think I'd venture to say that all three of us enjoy learning something new. So it's been really cool to kind of learn how to podcast to some degree. Again, giving full credit to Ben about learning and really being the driving force. I think we like to say that, like, I had the idea, Nathaniel is the DM and world builder, and if it was not for Ben, this would not be happening. So bear with us as well as we learn through sound equipment and posting and all those things. We're grateful for your understanding and all that.
And that pretty much wraps it up. We hope this has piqued your interest, not turned it down or reduced it, but if you like, join us as we travel across the glass sea.
Ba-ba-bum.